Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. Today, we're going to talk about Retirement Boss Radio with the coach Dave Pimper. Every Tuesday and some Fridays, I get the opportunity to speak with all of you, with the coach of Lazarus Coaching, Dave Pimper. And we usually talk about something that's more sales or more marketing related. And today, of course, that is the case. So today we're going to talk about Retirement Boss Radio, which is, how to build your business using radio. And I want you to all I know that you joined the webinar today with the idea that you might have some interest in radio. Keep a real open mind, because I do think that radio is easier than ever before, which can, and it's certainly, from a timing aspect, the ability to gain new prospects via radio, I think, is better right now, at least based on the results that we're seeing, than it has been ever before. And to a certain extent, the pricing of radio is cheaper than it's ever been before. Advertising costs are down right now on radio for a lot of reasons, most related to the pandemic. So keep that in mind, if you would. And thank you all for joining us here today. My name is Steve Murray. I'm the president here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I'm going to run through just a few things about one of the services that we offer here at IAMS. And I want you to, again, if you have any questions, I want you to type them in and hit send. There'll be a poll or two that will pop up. Answer yes or no as quickly as you can to that. And let's just keep things moving right along here. So many of you are familiar with our new producer builders. Some of you are not. So you can see what they are there on the screen of the choices. There are 5 different levels you can qualify at. And you kind of get to choose among those different levels and what you would like to choose from those. Here's what I would say about that is that if you have something else that you would like to do with your new producer builders bonus, I would certainly consider that. So if there's something that you want to try or something that you're already doing that's effectively helping you grow your business, I'm certainly open to that. The whole goal here is to kind of give you a bonus for your business in your first 180 days of being with IAMS that kind of is on steroids and gives you the opportunity to get a little bit higher bonus from us and continue your momentum with IAMS. So if that is using one of these, that's great. If it's using something that you want to use on your own, that's just as good from my standpoint as well. A couple other things that we do, and these are ongoing, regular ways that many of our producers have leverage their business and their contacts with IAMS for years and years. One is the RPM program. When you it's a referral-based program. So when you refer an acquaintance or a colleague to IAMS and that person gets licensed, we're going to send you a check for $50. No big deal if we get them licensed. But the real money comes when they start doing business, because we pay an ongoing referral for business that they do, and nothing changes. I mean, they're treated just like any other producer. That's money that comes out of our advertising budget and gets paid to you for their business. So they still get all the other benefits of being part of the IAMS. You don't have any of that liability that you have when you have sub-agents and chargebacks. You don't have any of that. And it's a great way for you to, if you have a colleague that you think might benefit, just give us their number. We'll do all the work. They get licensed and start doing business. You're going to start seeing checks. And those are now, obviously, the program's been around for 12, 13 years. And so there's some of those that have just gotten to be, very large payouts, which is great. I mean, I can think of no checks we'd rather send out than in appreciation for your referrals for ongoing business. So we appreciate those very much. Another way that we send out regular checks is through marketing reimbursement. A pretty simple plan. When you do business, money goes into your account. When you do advertising, anything to do with growing your business from a marketing standpoint, we're going to reimburse that. We're going to share that cost with you dollar for dollar. So take advantage of those 2 programs if you're not already. We got great back office support. We call it submission to commission, but it really is before that, our case design and everything that goes with being part of IAMS. And even before that, it goes to just our 3-ring guarantee here, which means that you're going to talk to a live body when you call here. You're not going to be talking to a voicemail. You're not going to be talking to someone we're going to get you in touch with somebody that can answer your question on almost every call in here, because we know your time is valuable, and that extends throughout all of our back office support, because we know that the time that you spend selling is much better spent than the time that you spend administering or trying to figure out which product to use. We're going to help with you through all of that, so that you can do what you do best, which is think of ways to get in front of people, get in front of people and make sales. And so we're going to do everything we can to help with every other aspect of your business. One of the things that we do, a lot of our guys have really liked, of course, our timing couldn't have been better with this, is Firelight is the e-app solution that most insurance carriers use. What we did was put a single sign-on on our website. So now you can go to our website and access any carriers that we do business with on the annuity side. On the life side, we do that through iPipeline. So it was particularly lucky. We started this process about 2 years ago, and it takes a while to get it set up. So it was about October of 2019, we're up and ready to go. And then, of course, February, March 2020, you can't see your clients anymore. So e-apps really became the preferred method of doing business for many of you, and we just made it much, much easier. So if you haven't got onto our website, so instead of going to all the carrier websites, now you can just go to our website. Instead of go on carrier A to write a client and then go on, maybe you're writing another app with the same client on carrier B. Now you can, instead of having put in all that information, you can just do a cut and paste if you do it all through our Firelight app. So that's a really great benefit to our producers, and hopefully you all take advantage of it. And the way to do that is really quite simple. Call up your sales director or anybody here and say, hey, I want to get registered for Firelight on your system. It's about a 3-minute process. So it doesn't take any time to get registered and set up to write your e-apps with all of your annuity carriers right from our website. So take advantage of that if you haven't already. Creative marketing solutions, just think of these folks as your advertising team. They're your advertising agency, and they're going to do better than any other advertising agencies you can do that with, is they are very focused on our business, your business, and very focused on working with producers that work in the financial services industry, and they're going to do as much as they can, kind of pro bono and everything else at cost. In other words, it's an advertising agency that works in-house for you, that is going to do everything that they can to grow your business and do it for as cheaply as possible. And sometimes as cheaply as possible is free. Most of our guys use their marketing reimbursement to if we're ordering business cards or whatever, and there, anything that there's a hard dollar expense with. So there's a great resource available. And again, my advice to all of you would be, call your sales director, go through it with them, and see what it is that they can do to help you grow your business. IAM's website, we've talked a little bit about this already with Firelight. There's a lot of tools on there. We have a lot of third-party plugins that we pay for to make your life easier, from Firelight to iPipeline to the annuity sales engine, which is kind of a annuity product sorting. So if you said, hey, who's got the best 3-year MIGA in the state of Florida for an 83-year-old? And all the details on that product, you can go in and sort that. Now, that's what we use a lot of times internally as well. So when you call here, that's a lot of times if you say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, the best, 2-year point-to-point S&P cap, we can search for that. And that's what that quote engine does. We have something similar on the life side. Even on the permanent life now, we've got some of that through iPipeline. Obviously, the term quoter is a nice solution that anyone can use quite easily. So there's a lot of stuff out there. We've got the sales support engine, excuse me, it's under support. Go down to the IAM sales library. A lot of great stuff there that gives, again, we pay a third party for access for you for about any sales piece that you can think of, like a referral builder. I mean, there's all kinds of great stuff that, again, if you call your sales director and say, hey, walk me through your website, I think you'd get some benefit from that you can use 24/7. Retirement Analyzer, I'll chat you in a moment Marcus's email address. Marcus here at our office handles Retirement Analyzer, and he'll be glad to send you out a link so that you can take a peek at this on us. We pay for that for our producers, and even for folks that have recently joined us and just want to get a peek at it, maybe haven't done business with us yet, you can take it, and Marcus will walk you through how to use it. You can see if it's something you can use. If you're not using some type of product like this with your A, B, C clients, I think there's an opportunity there for you to further build and expand your relationship with those clients using this type of a program. So what it does is, it's a pretty good, decent amount of input that you need to get in, but you can get back for your client everything where they're long and short of in terms of their retirement journey in a very graphic, nice format. And we like it because it's really the best combination that we've been able to find of ease of input with quality of output. So if that's something that you want to take advantage of and you want to do it without having to tap into your own pocketbook, let us pay for it, give Marcus a call and let him walk you through it. So any type of, if you work in a lead system or an appointment system, which if you're not, let us know, we can help you with that. But if you can present, if you can go to that appointment or go to that online, that virtual or Zoom appointment and say, okay, this is what I do and this is how I do it, and give them an example of this, it's more than what anybody else is offering them, and it's a great output, and it's something that we make available to you at no cost. So take advantage of the Retirement Analyzer. Watch the chat box, and I'll send you Marcus's email address, and you can just shoot him a quick email if you'd like to take a closer look at that. So the DOL is back at it, as you all know. About middle of February, they let go through, the Biden administration let go through the Trump DOL rule, which has some teeth to it, maybe more than what was expected. And so what does that mean to the average producer in the field? Well, we said, you all have probably been to our webinars that we've done on that with the 8424 form, and the things that you need to cover now that you maybe didn't need to talk about with your clients. We've got you covered there. But one thing that we can't do for you is help you look at your business with your clients from a more global standpoint. So part of the DOL is going to make it more advantageous for you to offer more than just insurance products. And many of you already do, some of you don't. Many of you have securities licenses, 663, 7. Some of you have a 65, many of you don't. If you don't, then it may be that you need to consider who you might want to refer that business to, which IAMS Wealth could help you with that. Or you may need to consider getting a Series 65, or if you have your 65 and maybe not been using it so much, maybe we can help you with that as well. So that's what IAMS Wealth is an RIA. It'll give you the opportunity to offer other than insurance products, securities-based products. If you already have a 65, then there are a few things about IAMS Wealth that I think you might find. I'm going to do this really quick if I can. Let me see. I'm going to put a poll up. I just threw a poll up for you. If you have interest in chatting with folks at IAMS Wealth, hopefully that gave you a little bit of a chance to still look at the screen. So, when you have a 65, the things that are going to happen is you are going to see an increase in your revenue, just from the 65 business, the securities business, but also from your insurance business. That's been the thing that has been most interesting for a lot of the guys over the past 2 or 3 years that we have helped move from the insurance to adding securities as part of their managed assets, as part of their practice. As they've seen their insurance business pick up, your clients are going to be a little bit stickier with you. Anytime you can do more than one thing with the client, they're going to be stickier with you. And obviously, if you're handling their insurance and their investments, that's pretty sticky right there. And it's just going to overall increase the value of your client relationship. So that's great. But if you're considering, like, do I need to get a 65 or how can I do that? Here's a couple of things I'll mention about IAMS Wealth that I hear over and over again over the last couple of years. So number one, I hear that from our producers that have come over from other RIAs that their fees are more efficient, not always cheaper, quite often cheaper, but certainly more efficient, because included in the fees are, E&O, website, obviously all your compliance, but also the level of service at IAMS Wealth is very, very high. So they're going to assist you through everything. So their service is better than what you see from most RIAs. I hear that, they do kind of follow the IAMS pathway in terms of service being a key to success. And so we put a little extra emphasis on that maybe you're not used to seeing from your RIA. Their payouts are better than most. So they pay just a little bit over 1%, but they also don't grid their payments. So you're not going to get, 90, 80, 70, 60% of 1%, or that little over 1% number. You're going to get all of that, which I think is unusual. And then if you're just thinking about getting your 65 and you need some assistance with that, we're really good at that, from getting you out the materials to getting you kind of syllabused out so you know a pattern to go through. So if that's something you have some interest in and you want to talk to them about any one of those things, I would hit yes on that poll. And obviously most of you are way ahead of me, so thank you for that. The pretty immediate responses there from you. I appreciate that very much. I know many of you have some interest in there. Here's what I would say: if you don't have interest, don't, and maybe that you don't have a 65 and you don't want to bother with that, and maybe you need an outlet. If you're looking for somebody to refer that business to, IAMS Wealth can help you with that. They can do some of it in-house. They can find you a local RIA or IAR that you can work with that will protect your relationship with your client and still give you the opportunity not to have them fishing around outside with someone else. So if that is of interest to you, I would also check yes on that poll. They've done a really nice job with that referral network, and they can do a lot of that in-house, or they can work. It depends on the state, but they can work some of that in-house and help you with that aspect of the business and keep that client with you. And maybe that's something that you do in the interim and then think, hey, over the next year or so, I'm going to concentrate and get my Series 65 and become an IAR myself. So something to think about. Thank you all for voting so quickly. And I'm going to close that poll out. I want to get moving on here because we're just about done. We're going to talk about radio in just a second. I did want to make sure that you're all aware, because this has just started. Qualification is just beginning for our next Top Producers Summit. And we're going to do a kind of a Mediterranean / Adriatic cruise. We're going to start in Rome. We're going to go down to Sicily. We're going to curve around to Greece, go back up to Kotor and Dubrovnik, Montenegro and Croatia, Zadar, Croatia, and then we're going to end up back in Venice. We're going to do that in 2022 in August through late August through September. We'll actually end up back in Venice at the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. So love to have you all join us on that. We've got a qualification period that lasts through June 30th of 2022, and it only takes 4.5 million points to qualify. Points are dollar for annuity. We give you about 11.5 points for your target premium, each dollar of target premium. So if you do $1 of target, that's 11.5. You do a $10,000 target, that's 10,000, a little bit over 110,000 points. And we're going to take care of our producers in style there. Everybody's going to have a balcony. We're all going to be on the concierge level. Our top 3 are going to have penthouse suites with butlers. So we're going to take care of our producers and join us on that. Plenty of time to qualify. We'd love to have you all join us. I know if you're sitting on this webinar today and considering radio, I know that you do a good job in the indexed annuity realm, in the insurance realm of your business. And we'd love to have you, you and your guest, join us on our next Top Producers Summit, which is we're calling it the Italian Adventure. Follow us on Facebook. Catch up with us on LinkedIn. There's some content that we do through Facebook and LinkedIn that's exclusive to those. Most of our producers already do, but if you haven't started producing with us yet, but you still want to get some of that content, look for us on LinkedIn. If you know how to do the search, if you're on LinkedIn, just type in Insurance Agency Marketing Services and follow us, and you'll get some nice content that is not available through any other venue. Okay, so Dave, are you on with us? I should have checked this. Have you?
Absolutely.
There he is. So I've drug on a little bit. I got kind of sidelined on our Top Producer Summit because I'm excited about that. But we got a great crew with us here today, and I haven't really talked much about Dave Pimper. So I'm gonna, Dave, close your ears. Gonna want you to get a big head. But so Dave has been in the business since early 1982. I joined the business in '84, and Dave was already running strong before that. Had a great practice, worked both in securities and insurance, has done that from the start. That's still the case today. Dave has been a top producer with us since we first met. He's actually kind of local. He lives in an area not far from our offices here in Omaha, and so we got the chance to meet a few times. But I didn't really chat with Dave a lot until he joined us on one of our Top Producer Summits. It was actually an Alaskan cruise, and he was out in the back of the boat smoking a cigar, and we just got to sit down and talk, and he told me a little bit about his business. One of the things he mentioned to me is he did some coaching, and that kind of I got lit a fire under me, and I said that's something that maybe some of our producers could use. Mostly we talked about practice management, about seminars at that time, and Dave's done a great job with that over the years. We've done seminars on retirement, seminars on Social Security, digital seminars now in the last year or so. And about 2 years ago, Dave started Retirement Boss Radio. Now, Dave's got a lot of experience in radio. Retirement Boss Radio is about 2.5 years old, and we've had a lot of great success with that. Dave will give you some ideas of what his success has been, but I think you're going to be pleased with the opportunity there. And as I mentioned at the outset, keep your mind open to the ease of doing radio. It's amazing when I've talked to folks that have done radio and the success that they have had, and the ease in the efficiency of their marketing spend that they've done in terms of the appointments generated. It's just been amazing. So keep your mind open to this Retirement Boss Radio. I'll also, before I'm done here, I'm going to send you a chat message as well that will take you to retirementbossradio.com, the website, so you can listen to a few shows as well. I think you'll find that enlightening and beneficial as well. Let's let Dave talk a little bit now about how the success that he's seen with himself and many of our producers on Retirement Boss Radio.
Hey, Steve, I appreciate that, and thank you for everybody being on the webinar with us today. This is not a long webinar. This is about a 20 to 25-minute webinar, and I will tell you right now, if you've never considered having your own radio show, you should. And the reason I say that is because I'm pretty much living proof, and some of the other people that are doing Retirement Boss Radio right now, of just what a great time kind of during this end of this pandemic to be in radio. I mean, radio is really hot right now as far as people listening to it, and it's fairly amazing of all of the people that actually listen to our show. Now, Steve, can you give me the controls on this? Or there we go, right there, perfect. So it asks here, why radio? And I will first say this. Like Steve, Steve's kind of a lifer in the FMO business. I'm kind of a lifer in the retail financial service arena since 1981. So going on 40 years here from when I started. And I like to market. I like to get in front of a lot of folks. In fact, and I'm not kidding this at all. I'm telling you the truth in my Omaha office, but I just did just shy. It was 292,000, so almost 300,000. And we just had our third and final appointment. I showed the proposal and we did the paperwork on it, and I did that right before today. That came from radio. And I'll tell you right now, the radio audience is huge. In fact, radio reaches more Americans each week than any other platform, including your TV, smartphone, and personal computer. That's hard to believe, but it's true. The median age, I say people in transition, the pre-retired or just retired, the average age is 61. What a perfect age to listen to AM radio. It reaches an upscale listener, 93% of adults that have household income of $75,000 and over listen to radio 12 hours a week. That's a lot of radio. And it solidifies you as the expert. I do a lot of seminar marketing. In fact, I got a virtual seminar coming up here on Social Security in 3 weeks. We've had some good success with that also. But what happens is you get a different feeling when people hear you on the radio or see you on television, but the radio is really, it kind of elevates you up as that expert. And in news radio, it's hot. It's hot. I mean, there's no doubt about it that people that are using the radio right now, it's just a very hot medium. Okay, so I want to go through just kind of the components of the radio, and I'll kind of freelance this a little bit, but there are 4 basic components to radio. So first of all, you need to live in an area that's at least 100,000 population or more. If you have much less than that, it's hard to get enough people to call your station. Okay, so little towns, I mean, it's difficult. It is. I'm on the radio on my small town of 26,000, and it's hard for me to get calls. Now I'm on a station in Omaha, Nebraska, and I've been averaging 3 to 4 appointments, not leads or not prospects, but set appointments per week by the appointment setting call service, inbound call service. So here's how it works. If you have interest, well, first of all, at the end of our webinar, it'll say, yes, I'd like to get more information on Retirement Boss Radio marketing. And what it is, it's an hour show, and Retirement Boss Radio Take Charge of Your Money. That is a trademarked name. I trademarked before my first show almost 3 years ago now. And I had done a radio show called Your Money Matters for 11 years live. And for 11 other years, I did ending market report called the ending bell of kind of Paul Harvey and the News. So I've done radio for almost 30 years of my 40 years in this business. But the first thing you got to have is you got to have the right radio station. And I'll tell you right now, it's like real estate: location, location, location. If you have the right radio station, then that's the first start. So we have a radio buyer, a media buyer, and he's very good at what he does. He has over 400 stations every week that he has purchased radio time for that have shows. Over 400. The guy's been in business for 22, 23 years. And when you talk about location, 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 in the radio business, it's the right radio station at the right time slot at the right price. You got to get those three things set up. Now, once the radio time is purchased, and that's some of the biggest cost of the entire program, then what happens is that there's got to be a production company which supplies the co-host. We have the same co-host for everybody. Supplies the show notes, which I kind of redo and edit and so forth. It takes me a couple hours every weekend to fit our show, and because it's not, we don't read the show notes and we don't do it ad lib. I mean, it kind of goes from a plan, and I rehearse those show notes ahead of time, as you should too if you're on the if you're one of the hosts. And so they take, because it's recorded, they can edit it, they mix it, they add your ads to it. And what we do is we record for half an hour, and we use a half an hour of recorded show from before. So in the very beginning, you're going to record 3-4 shows to get it going, and then you're always going back 4 shows. You record a 30-minute show, you add 4 shows back, a 30-minute show, which equals the hour. Saves on production cost. It's really a smart way to do it. And everybody thinks, I mean, I have people call in all the time and say, oh, I thought this was live. Now, that production company, they get it, they edit it, they mix it, they take out the bloopers, they take out, if you want to redo it, then you say, stop that, I want to redo that paragraph or that subject. And so it really makes you sound good. I mean, no doubt. And if you'd like to hear some of those broadcasts, if you go to www.retirementbossradio.com, www.retirementbossradio.com, that's our website. You'll be able to really get a good listing of how that sounds. So once the production, they get it canned and get it to the radio station. What happens during the show, because it's recorded, and you can record it at your leisure, in your office, your home, I mean, motel room. It can be in your car as long as you got a good computer and Wi-Fi connection. But what happens is that the call center is key. We have a very good call to action, and the call center is key. So when they call in, the call center takes the call, and their whole goal is to set the appointment, which they do a very, very good job. And we call everybody back on Monday morning, so it doesn't take out of our weekend time. The shows either air on Saturday or Sunday. Like my time is Sunday at 12 o'clock. And that's been a very, very good time for me, 12 to 1. And then myself, I help you get coached up on radio. So we have 3 radio coaching sessions. We go over the show notes that you're going to do your first time. We get you comfortable. I call it studio in the box. There's about $225 worth of radio equipment that you need for your office. There's a professional microphone, professional headphones, a little foam box to put your microphone in, and that's really the only upfront cost that you truly do have, okay? Now, if you have any questions at all, certainly type them on in, and I will answer those for you. The radio business is really it's a pretty easy business to figure out. I think one of the most important things that you can do is have a good radio station to be a host on. There's a lot of stations out there, but we can certainly help you with that. With our radio buyer, he knows almost all the major markets. Any market that's 75 or 100,000 or more, he's probably worked in it. Once the call center sets up the appointment, then just like this right here, it goes right into your email instantly. And that's really, really nice. It's just like Christmas on the weekends when those start popping through. I've had as many as 9 appointments on a weekend, and hardly ever do I get blanks. I'll average between 10 and 15 on average. It's been more than that lately, but on an average of set appointments. And we use off of an electronic calendar that they have, the appointment setting call center, inbound call center, and our calendar. We fill it out every Friday. They don't know who our appointments are with. It's just known as blocked off time. And so all of our appointments are preset. Gives you a lot of star quality. Cost, that's always one of the big questions. And as we're kind of finishing up and we're going to open up the phone lines here, but the cost, normally I would say that it runs per month about, I would say $3,500 to $4,500 to be on 4 or 5 hour weekends. Plus you get 10 to 15 to 30 second ads promoting your show every single week. It's just quite a package. There's, of course, locations available, not all, but quite a few locations available. Get training and coaching for myself. That studio, for $225, you're buying the mic and the headphones and the little sound box. But it's kind of how it all works together. I help you when I coach you. But the end result is you've got a professional sounding, a very professional sounding radio show that when you listen to mine, you end up sounding like that. You really, really do. And the reason is because the components that we hear are just really, really quality. There's no doubt about it that because we can go in and it's recorded, because it's not live. I love this from Al Jolson. It says, "Thank you. I'd like to do radio just like pictures, leave the imperfect stuff on the cutting room floor." Well, you know what? You can. You can. Now, Steve, he's going to open up the poll here, and if you'd like to talk for 15, 20 minutes about radio, what it could do for your practice, then you need to mark yes on this poll. But there's no saying. It says, "Procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop." Tomorrow never comes. If you heard something today, they said, maybe I could be that host. Maybe I need more appointments, quality appointments. I tell you, just like that piece of business that I just did, it'll probably cover me from the commissions on that. It'll probably cover me for 2.5 or 3 months, and well, this is already March, so it's my first piece of business in March. But I did 2 other pieces of business, 2 or 3 last month that came from radio. It's just really been a tremendous source. And if you think that it's too expensive, we've seen it as low as $2,300, $2,400 all in for the cost, all in, for an hour show once a week. So if you mark yes, then Ron will give you a call. Ron Lodel will give you a call, and he sharp individual. He'll get a good time for you and a good time for me to talk on the phone and just discuss if that's something that you could be interested in your neck of the woods. Steve, I'll turn this over to you and kind of see if there's any questions or other kind of areas that we want to bring up for discussion?
Sure. Well, you mentioned you can help, if there's interest, you can help finding out what the availability is in the area. And if there's a couple people that are asking about that, but it looks like we've got about, just a couple people haven't voted and everybody wants to chat with you. So that would be the question. That would be the question you would ask Dave. And he'll go to Jared and he'll just find out what the best station is for your area, make sure it's available and see what times are available and get you the cost. So that's how we get that figured out for you. Here's what I would say, and Dave, I think you'd agree with this. I mean, if you go back and look at the amount of money you spend had spent in the past on seminars and what you spent more recently on digital seminars and compare that to what you're spending on radio. I mean, how do you look at those, hey, because I know you're a seminar guy. I mean, Dave's only done like 520 seminars in his life, so he likes seminars. But when you look at those two side by side, what are the advantages and disadvantages of radio compared to seminars? Because I know a lot of these folks are used to spending a little money on the marketing because they have to be as successful as they are. But how would you evaluate the money you spend on radio versus the money you spend on seminars?
Yeah, I will say that the person who comes in on an appointment from radio is a little, normally socioeconomically, a little higher caliber. It's a little higher caliber person. I will say that radio has probably got stronger from the pandemic. We can talk a little bit about this. People who dropped, who have lost jobs, companies that have gone under. There's not as many advertisers. Some of the radio stations have cut pricing to get advertisers on, which is wonderful for us. Also, more people at home now, more people are listening to radio than they ever have. Sure. And so seminars are more of a challenge. I mean, most people like us, we really aren't doing any face-to-face yet. We haven't for a year. And the virtual, we've had success with virtual. That's why I'm doing another one here in 3 weeks. But seminars certainly have changed from face-to-face to virtual. I had never done, as you know, Steve, we had never done one virtual seminar. Right. And it took us a few to really figure out, well, now radio, we didn't miss a beat in radio, did we? Not a beat. No. In fact, it's even gotten stronger. So I think that's the big difference. Is it's just kind of a really good median for the time, because we didn't have to change one thing. You can't catch COVID-19 by the airwaves. It's impossible. No matter what Fauci says, it's impossible. You cannot do it. Yeah. I'm just joking. I'm having fun there.
Fauci do the press briefing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. No. It's great for the pandemic though, because it is. It's a great way to market. And then we're in Nebraska, we're fortunate because we've been a pretty open state. So, I mean, out of every 10 appointments, I probably have 8 or 9 in person, and a couple by phone, and one out of every 15 or 20 are by Zoom. But it's been very, very, the return on the dollar of invested has been very high, no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt.
When we look at digitals, all our competitors can say what they want, but anything done in a digital seminar, or digital presentation environment as compared to live presentation, just from a seminar standpoint, like doing a webinar with clients, I mean, they're all less efficient. It's more efficient to do a live seminar than it is to do a digital webinar for your clients. So
you're right.
And it's not much less expensive, if at all less expensive.
And Steve, I will say this. It doesn't mean that virtual cannot be successful. We're just talking about at the present time that's exactly right. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
And then when you compare, for instance, radio right now, even to live seminars, so what do you get with a live seminar? The cost is about the same for one live seminar versus radio. That's kind of a nice rule of thumb. Whatever you're spending on seminars, you're going to spend about a seminar, you're going to spend that amount on radio. Now remember, when you're spending that monthly amount on radio, you're spending about the cost of one seminar, but you're getting on the radio 4 times for an hour, 4 weekends, 4 Saturdays, 4 Sundays, whatever day that happens to be. With the seminar, of course, you're in front of if a good seminar for you, Dave, how many people did you get in front of?
Oh, 30.
30. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I know we had some 40s and 50s and 60s, but
I've had over 100 before. But I'm saying on an average seminar, when I look across the room, we like to have it between 25 and 30. But that's about how many. And you're right, because when you're on radio, I mean, if it's a big station, I mean, you can have thousands that are listening to you.
Yeah, I think you can count on
You know.
thousands. Now, obviously, those thousands, some are not going to be, I mean, they're not going to be in your demographic, but we do know that radio does tend towards the demographic that we want to speak with. 50 and older is,
Yep.
it's certainly for
Yep.
the stations that were on the talk radio stations. That's going to be the demographic. And with seminar, of course, you're getting in front of 40 or 50 people at one time, and you're getting a much more, I would say, a concentrated relationship when you're sitting in front of a seminar. They're getting a look at you, they get a feel for you, and if they make an appointment, they're likely saying, hey, this is somebody I think I could do business with, and they're not going to make
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
appointment. So that's the advantage of seminars. Radio, you don't necessarily have that because they can't see, but they can hear you. And not only did they hear you once, but they probably listened to you for the past month, before they said, you know what, this guy's got some good stuff. I want to talk to him.
Right.
And at the same time, as you and I know this to be true, and I've seen it, you do build, there is some credibility that comes with radio on a mass basis that you just don't get anywhere else. And you get some credibility from stand
Right.
up and doing some seminars, but everybody around here knows now what Dave Pimper does for a living. That you couldn't have said that 3 years ago.
Mhm.
You never
Mhm.
have to answer the question at a party anymore. What do you do, Dave? I mean, everybody knows because
Yeah,
everybody hears on the
I
radio.
tell you what, Steve, and this is a true story. This was last week, and I saw an advisor. He's probably 55 or 60, and he's from Fremont, my hometown, my small town. And he works for a competing brokerage or advisory investment firm. And he says, "Hey," he said, "I hear you on the radio all the time." And I laughed, and he says, and then he looks at me, and he says, "You're a star." And he wasn't. And he said, "You get so much publicity from that." And I said, "Well, it's really been good." And what happens is, and I educate, but you know what? Because we say our phone number, we know. I mean, every segment we say our phone number twice within the segment. It's a toll free number, ends in 2677. Like mine, it's 888-975-2677. 2677 is boss. 1-888-975 boss. BOS is for Retirement Boss Radio. We say it at least twice during the 15-minute segment, and then it's probably said 4 or 5 times on the offer, the phone number. And you know what? I mean, we could be telling our website, and we could be telling our email, and we could be telling text this number. But you know what? I've done a lot of experimenting on this, and just giving him everyone's got a phone, and now it's a cell phone. It's not a landline. It's a cell phone. Whether you're in the car, whether you're in the garage, whether you're out fishing, everyone's got a phone. And you know what? It's amazing of how many people listen to the radio. And I cannot tell you how many people come in and say, were you the guy on the radio? Yeah. Or they'll say, they're just sure it's live. I was going to call in, but I what I was thinking, I was going to, talk to you, but that's fine because I want to meet you anyway. I mean, it's a very, very unique medium that very few advisors take advantage. I promise you this: if you're in a fairly major metropolitan area, 100,000 or more population, you go to Saturday and Sunday. Those are the times that local businesses like myself or yourself, we can get on and do a show. Find out who's in the investment or in the insurance, in the business, and then find out, see if they're successful. I'm just going to tell you right now, most of the people by far that are on radio, they're successful. Why? They know how to market, and they're marketing their practice. And I tell you what, we can help you do just that.
Yeah, and I don't be intimidated by the pricing or by the process. We're very efficient with the pricing and the process. Dave has gotten that down to a science. There's a couple questions about appointments, so people call on the radio show. So you might want to go over that again, your service and how that works when you say, hey, let's open up the phone lines. Tell the folks what happens there.
Yeah, there's an offer, and I've got 3 different offers, and you actually read the offer, you ad lib it, but I mean, so it doesn't sound like it's just read. But Steve is our co-host. I'll say, Steve, why don't we do this? Why don't we open up the phone lines? So he'll say, Dave, let's open up the phone lines, and I'll say, yeah, folks. And then there's always a call to action. For the next 5 callers, if you call in the next 15 minutes, if you call during the show, and then what you're going to get. And I will say this, Social Security is a big draw. And if you don't know Social Security, I will coach you up on Social Security so you understand it. That's another great thing that you can get. If you don't know Social Security now, it's part of the coaching. I mean, I actually paid for my IAMs to stipend. They stipend me to coach you up, but not just on Social Security, but we go through the show note, the first show notes that you're going to use. We role play it. I want you comfortable. We talk about how all the components work together, all the things that are the kind of the hot things that people look at. I'll have from time to time people we certainly have people who are just insurance licensed. They're not securities licensed. That's fine. You can do it. We've had some very, very good success with just insurance alone. So I will just say this. If you need to get in front of more qualified appointments, you should certainly consider Retirement Boss Radio advertising, being your own host, and you have a co-host for an hour. I mean, when people can listen to you for an hour, that's a long time. You've got a lot of great things that can come on out. Most people listen to the show for 10 minutes or 15. That's why you got to keep on saying the phone number. We really got it honed in pretty well. So I'd love to talk with you, give you some ideas of what maybe this could do for you. If you haven't marked yes, certainly do. If you mark no, we certainly understand that. But I think I'll tell you right now, it could be really a plus for yourself to see if you could get something going in your area.
Well, the good news, Dave, is everybody's already answered the poll. I think we've answered
Good.
most of the questions that aren't very specific that you would want to probably address with Dave. I'm just kind of looking up and down the questions, seeing if there's anything else here. And what happens when Dave says open up the phone lines, basically, is it goes right to the call center. The call center, Dave spent an enormous amount of time finding just the right call center with just the right people to get the maximum conversion on those appointments. And then they're just basically setting that appointment for you. So now you're going to have another 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 people to talk to next month about what you want to talk to them about helping them, and you're going to have a coach alongside you to help. So it's really a great way. Vaccines are out and about, and eventually we're all going to be able to do seminars again or be able to do whatever it is that we normally do to gain clientele. But this is still going to go on. Radio still is going to work.
Oh yeah.
And you're still going to have some success. So this is a great new way that you can, if you're doing 3 seminars a month, maybe you now go to do 2 and do radio. And you're going to have something going on there that could really add to your bottom line. So with that, Dave, is there anything that you want to add before we close up today?
I told you last week, I did the numbers because I was finishing up the Sunday on February. March, I had 19 set appointments by the telephone answering service. And January. In February, I had 22. And I was averaging between 10 and 15, but those 2 months were just outstanding. And I'll tell you, we can look at your area. If you can get the right radio station at the right time, and pricing is normally pretty competitive right now, I think you'd be very surprised what might be available. So we had almost everybody answer yes. So that's really cool, Steve. So I'm looking forward to talking to everybody. When Ron gives you a call, take it. Take it. Let's get set up on the appointment, or call him right back, and let's get this set up on the appointment. I'm looking forward to speaking with everybody.
Perfect. And here at IAMS, we appreciate you joining all of our webinars. This is, I think, is a particularly valuable one that maybe not as many people are enlightened to as should be about the opportunity here. So a good ground floor opportunity for you. Most areas there is opening, a way that we can get you a spot. So we'll find a way to make it work. Or if we can't, we'll tell you that too, because we want efficient use of your money. But there would definitely be some opportunity for for most of you that want to do radio, and it's a great time to do it. And if we can get you involved now and get you locked into a 1-year agreement or something with the radio station at the current prices, you're going to be really happy with your results. 8, 6, 5 months out, you're going to say, boy, this was a really nice thing that I've done. Now people recognize me. Now I'm getting regular appointments that I wasn't getting before, and I know more about Social Security claiming than I ever did before, which is a nice side benefit that will make you money every year. Great deal, great opportunity right now. So I'm glad that so many of you decided that this is something you want to do. Thanks for joining us this morning. Here it is Tuesday. You can have plenty of opportunity to sit in front of clients, but you've taken the opportunity to sit down and learn a little bit more to grow your business. We admire that, and we have a bias towards helping you. So let us know what we can do. I've texted you my number. I texted you www.retirementbossradio.com or chatted it to you, so you all have that as well. Listen to a radio show. That's what you're going to sound like. Don't be intimidated and think, hey, that's what Dave sounds like, but I'm not going to sound as good. Everybody sounds that way. It's well-produced radio, so take advantage of it, and let's get off to the races in 2021 here and get you out on a nice cruise with your guest here in 2022. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.